coming forth. So go ahead.
So my daughter, she's been dealing with mental health for a really long time. Like the first time is when she was 4, when I kind of went, something's up with her, because she put her feces all over the bathroom. So I went into the bathroom and I went, oh, what's that smell? And I turned on the light and it was all over the wall. And I was like, whoa, what's up? And then she told me somebody in her head told her to do this bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so anyways, it's been like, she's been my biggest teacher.
Mm-hmm.
It's gotten better. There was a lot of enemy spirit there. I believe that's got rid of a lot of enemy spirit. But she's like, she is calmed down a lot. Like,
so let me coach you a little bit. Okay. What I want to know is, and because it comes down to always our consciousness, whatever's going on with, even say somebody in our family that's dealing with mental issues or whatever's going on, right? I want to know, what's the problem for you, Laura?
I'm tired. I'm frustrated. And I just really want her to step into her power and not be so codependent.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, great. So always, you spot it, you got it. Okay. It's not going to be easy, and growth is not easy, but it is much easier than not growing. Okay. So Laura, with all respect and with all, like, thank you so much for bringing this forth, because all of us, I have dealt with codependency my entire life, right? I am completely free of it now. And it's been something that really disabled me and really impacted my life. And what I know for sure is that your daughter is your greatest teacher right now. And she actually is you can't have one codependent without another codependent. It's impossible.
Yes.
Okay. So this is going to be a great big growth for you, because the universe said, Laura, look, I've got this great advanced class on codependency. It's actually going to be your daughter. So it's going to be even harder to put boundaries. It's going to be even harder to say, sorry, it's going to be a little bit of tough love and you're going to have to go do it on. So we're going to put you in this really, really advanced class, Laura. So that, because Laura, you decided as a spirit that you wanted to grow in this lifetime. You told us that, remember? You told your higher self, you made that little contract with yourself, right? So now we're going to make it into this really intricate, really entangled thing called a daughter. And she's going to we're going to make her seem like she has mental issues, so that you even feel even more sorry for her. So it's even harder to be able to learn how to put boundaries on yourself. How's that feel for you, Laura?
Yeah, that feels very real.
Yeah.
And I was like, what was I thinking? No, I was kidding.
Right. Be careful what you ask for. I want growth. I want to be a spiritual leader. Okay. Are you sure? Because this is going to be a fun one. Right. Okay. So Laura.
I feel emotional. Okay.
Yeah. Let it go. Okay. It's energy that's all in you right now. And this is exactly what happens when truth lands. Truth is going to set you free. It's also going to move some energy where it's stuck and where it's flowing and whatever. So just taking a deep breath in together, you guys. Okay. The transformation and the breakthrough happens not when Laura changes. The breakthrough and the transformation happens when Laura recognizes how powerful she is and how she created everything into existence. So just letting that go all through my DNA as I get chills up and down every cell in my body, knowing truth has been known in the one divine mind. There's nothing to be done here. There's nothing to be done, you guys. The power's been restored in Laura's consciousness. She knows the truth of who she is. She knows the power that she is. She recognizes that she created this in her consciousness. How are you feeling, Laura?
Ugh. I feel I have a hard time crying and releasing, and I feel it's really starting to come
Mm-hmm.
up now because I've been a single mom for 16 years, 17 years, and I've always had to be super strong and hold things up
Yeah.
and go. And I picked a real hellstorm to go through.
Can you place your phone down to where you don't have to hold it? Can you put it somewhere it's going to be propped up? Because I'm going to take you through something so you can begin to release that energy more.
Thank you. Yes, I'll just put it in my little thing here.
Mm-hmm. What happens is we try and hold it all together, right? We try to not be pissed at our daughter. We try to not be upset. We try and hold it all together, even though I'm really upset, right? So right now, Laura, I want you to have a safe space right here to just express. And when you allow yourself to express, you're going to allow others to express, okay? So I'm just going to ask you repetitive questions. I don't want any backstory. I want you to just fully express whatever's there, acknowledging, acknowledging. Regarding your daughter, what are you upset about?
I'm so sick of the way she speaks to me like I'm a piece of shit.
Thank you. Totally got it. Regarding the situation with your daughter, what are you upset about?
I'm sick of her being lazy. Like she doesn't make any effort and has no inspiration or aspiration.
Thank you. Regarding your daughter in a situation, what are you upset about? Just let it go. This is a place when you get mad, I want you to fully feel it. Just fully express it. Okay. It's okay. Regarding your daughter, what are you upset about?
I'm really sick of her fucking mess. Fucking sick of her mess. Like I cleared space, I got rid of clutter, and she just dumps it. It makes more of a clutter, and it bugs the shit out of me.
Thank you. Regarding your daughter, what else are you upset about?
I'm upset about the way she just abuses me and verbally abuses me and has physically abused me and has trashed my house, put big holes in it, ripped and broke things on purpose. And I'm tired of it. I'm
Thank
tired of
you.
the battle.
Thank you. Thank you. Totally hear you. Regarding your daughter, what else are you upset about?
I'm just upset that she's so broken. Like, I don't know why she's like this.
Totally
Like,
got it. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Regarding your daughter, what else are you upset about?
I'm just upset with her lack, just her no motivation. She doesn't do anything. I'm so sick of her not doing anything. Like she's 20, she never finished school, she's never had a job. She just gets stoned and trashes the place, and like it drives me crazy. Like I'm done.
Thank you. Regarding your daughter, what failed expectations do you have?
Failed expectations. Sorry, this is moving on me.
You can hold it if you need to. Okay.
Failed expectations. My failed expectations I think I have for my daughter was I just wanted like to embrace life and see the joy and like the beauty and the magic, and there was never any with her. Like everything sucked. Like her birthday sucked, everything sucks. I suck. She like my youngest daughter had, because I broke up with her dad, so I tough loved her to her dad. I had her arrested. I've kicked her out, and now she's back. And then my youngest daughter had to move to her nana's. I don't even know where I'm going with this, but it's just like
Just real quick, I want no story around it. Regarding your daughter, what other failed expectations do you have?
I think like it makes me feel like makes me feel like I failed as a mom. Like, where did I go wrong? How come she's so fucked up?
Totally got it. Totally hear you. Okay. Regarding your daughter, what other failed expectations do you have?
Was I projecting my traumas on her without
Okay.
realizing it?
I don't want you to evaluate. I just want you to tell
Okay.
me, regarding your daughter, what other failed expectations do you have?
that she's just so lazy that she doesn't do anything.
Thank you. Totally got it. Okay. regarding your daughter? What else are you upset about?
I'm upset that I aligned her to get, and I had to advocate for her to get disability. And now she gets some money coming in. And then whenever I ask her for, because I'm a single mom when I ask her for support, like to pay me, like she is like so reluctant to give me money, and she'll give me something easy like $100, which does nothing, and it really makes me mad.
Totally got it. Okay, Laura, regarding your daughter, this is straight up codependency. Okay, it's the gap, you guys. The gap is wanting people, places, and things to be different than they are, right? Codependency is wanting someone else or yourself to be something that you're not, right? It's wanting them to be different, want to fix them, change them, heal them, right? A lot of spiritual leaders actually are very codependent. They want their clients to change. That is codependency straight up, okay? So accepting your daughter exactly as she is, and we have to, in our mind, get okay with somebody, and we have to know it's perfect exactly where she's at. She's going through exactly what she needs to go through in her own lessons, right? So accepting her and pretending that she's never going to change, Laura. What do you need to do to place your boundaries around and protect yourself? Because if we understand how universal law works, right, we understand that par, being at peace, is our bare minimum. If we're down in frustration, sadness, overwhelm, all that, we're going to influence the subconscious mind, and it's going to influence the universal mind, and it's going to reflect back with even more chaos, more insanity, more sadness. And so your job is to stay at peace, at par, and to get into joy and fulfillment and ecstasy, right? That's our real job if we really were to have our list of where we want to get in the day. So what is it going to take for Laura to stay in peace?
Just becoming neutral and care, don't care.
Okay, so if I put my hand in the fire and I keep just going, well, I just need to be neutral, is that going to work?
No.
No.
No, it's not. I just gotta have to realize it's her journey, and she chose this for herself too.
Mm-hmm. So as a coach, my agreement would be to get an agreement around you to give it a timeline. Okay. I'm assuming she's living in your house. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. So if you cannot stay in neutral and accept as she is and get in peace every day, then how much time are you going to give it until you have to tell her you need to move out?
I feel like I could, if she doesn't get the call from Halton Housing, I might have to say like the fall, like September.
Okay. I'm never going to ever give anybody advice. Okay. But I am going to say, like, have somebody realize the wake up call of the effect they're having on their life. So between now and fall, Laura, what's the risk of you being in an environment where you are, putting yourself in an environment that's abusive to yourself? Not that she's abusive, you're putting yourself in an abusive because the meaning you're putting around it and the way you're, having emotions around it is abusive to yourself. So what's the payoff? What's the risk of you doing this until fall?
The risk is me attaining this harmony that I've been striving for.
That's the possible if you do it. If you don't do it and you have her in your house, what's the risk?
The risk is being in disharmony.
Yeah, let me go a little bit further, you guys. It can end up in jail.
Yeah.
It can end up in people committing suicide. It can end up in people going to mental wards. That's where addiction goes, you guys. You need to get the impact of staying in an environment where trust me, I know it gets nasty because I've been in those environments. Okay. So Laura, I care about you enough to ask you and request, and that would be the same thing if somebody's in our community. If you're dealing with codependency, I am going to request that you do 90 meetings in 90 days in CODA. It's called coda.org. It is free. You can pay a couple dollars when you go, but you need to go every day to hear the stories of the vicious cycle, the ups and downs, and the insanity that goes on within codependency. Okay. So it's coda.org. Okay. Because you guys have to think about, look, you don't have to disclose the worst thing that's happened between you and your daughter, Laura, but I would imagine it gets pretty nasty. Am I?
It's correct.
Okay,
I
trust
actually
me.
have her hospitalized. Suicide is very real.
Okay.
And,
this is nothing to mess with, you guys. You got drugs and alcohol involved. You got arguments. It's not going to end well. Okay. So the codependent part of Laura or any of us will want to be, but it's my daughter. I can't kick her out. Oh my gosh. Right. Oh my gosh. I'm going to be a bad person. That won't work. It's going to be even more dramatic. Right. That's like taking it into responsibility. So if I told you this, Laura, if you could look down the track, and I'm not saying this is a possibility, but we have to get okay as spiritualists to be okay with the worst case and best case scenario. We need to get ourselves prepared. We're spiritual warriors. Okay. The best case scenario is, things start going well. Her daughter starts whatever. They're not in arguments. Laura's able to just accept her daughter the way she is, and her daughter starts not reacting, and they are able to stand to one house. And all of a sudden her daughter decides, I'm going to start paying my mom rent also on top, right? That's best case scenario, which is called maybe a little bit delusion at this point in time. Okay. In fact, it is delusion because what we resist persists. So it's most likely would be a flat out miracle for that to happen. And the only way that miracle is going to happen is for Laura to know a miracle within her own consciousness. Worst case scenario is Laura and her daughter stay under the same roof. Laura and her daughter get into a major brawl. Maybe somebody ends in the hospital. Maybe somebody ends in jail. Worst case scenario, somebody ends in suicide or murder. Okay. This is not a joke. Okay. Domestic violence between family is real, you guys. Okay. Trust me. I've been there. I know what it's like to get in those nasty fights where you're like, oh my God, this is getting scary. So Laura, you need to take and decide right now for yourself on a level of 1 to 10, how serious are you about actually taking care of Laura?
Oh, I'm at like a 10. I really want to take care of me. I am so done. Yeah, I'm done.
This is my request. Okay. You do not have to decide today if you're going to have your daughter move out of the house. You do not have to decide anything. But what you do have to do that I would recommend is you need to commit to going to a CODA meeting every single day, because in seeing the insanity of the stories within there, you're going to get very clear of what the correct decision is for yourself. Can I get an agreement that you'll go to those meetings? They're free. They're online. Okay.
Yes, 100%.
Okay, great. Amazing. Do you want to make a new declaration for your life, Laura?
Yes. My declaration is that I'm worthy and I deserve to have a peaceful and harmonious atmosphere in my home and all around me, inside and outside of me.
Thank you. And so taking a deep breath in together, you guys. Holding Laura and her daughter in our heart. I know the perfection. I know that they have to go what they're going through, that this course called self-love is a masterclass. It is no joke. It is the most advanced class on this planet, self-love, knowing the self-worth and recognizing that you are worthy of having a peaceful life, a powerful life. And I recognize as much as she disentangles Laura from the insanity, she will actually give the possibility for her daughter to disentangle from the insanity as well. It is a counterintuitive process to love somebody. It is not always how we think it's supposed to look. And so I recognize that Laura's held in the perfect hand. She has the perfect CODA courses to go to, perfect meetings for her to break free of her vicious cycle in her divine choice, in her freedom of will, which her will is divine will, that highest will that is working for her harmony, her love, and for her to thrive as a spirit, expressing the highest version of herself in this lifetime. I am so grateful for CODA, all the people involved, all the people that have given service for so many times for us to break free of our vicious cycle. I'm so grateful. Knowing the truth, as together we say, freedom, freedom, freedom. As together we say, and so it is. And so it is.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. You helped a lot of people there. How many of you guys have dealt with codependency or are still dealing with codependency at whatever level? It doesn't always look how it's supposed to look. Maybe it could be, who's to say if Laura's not more blessed than somebody else? Someone could have a little bit of codependency, right? Just enough to keep you tangled for the rest of your life. Or it can get really bad and it's actually maybe even a bigger blessing because it slams you down and demands you to love yourself and do those hard things. Okay. Anybody see something for themselves that they didn't see before? Jennifer?
Sorry, I think it was from last week. I had a big upset with my job. So that was like I came home. I needed my power to my job, I think it was. So I came home
Same
crying.
thing. What is codependency, you guys? It's literally placing something out here in the world as our source of joy and equally instantaneously as suffering. If we place our power and give our power to something outside of ourselves, my happiness is contingent upon the economy being a certain way. My happiness is contingent upon lockdown not being lockdown anymore. My happiness is contingent upon me weighing a certain amount or looking a certain way or whatever it may be, right? And instantly we give it our suffering, our joy, all in one thing. And so, Jennifer, how's it going? How are you? Because we can't change out there. It's not how we designed the universe. It's not how we designed it. We designed it to feel like we're limited so that we have to innovate and do everything.
Yeah, essentially. It's one of those things where I need to quit my job because I've given it a lot. Like, yeah, I depend on my job, but I need to
same
quit
thing. Same thing, right?
My job.
There's no difference. It's like, I need to break up with this job. I need to break up with my daughter at whatever level we're at. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to love my daughter. I'm going to put boundaries on it. It's not mean Jennifer doesn't have to make the position wrong. It's just not right for her. Right. So it doesn't mean that, and Jennifer also may decide I'm going to leave my job. It may not happen for a month, but in the meantime, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z to take that leap, or I might just leave it tomorrow. Right. I remember when I was codependent, I was in a terrible relationship, you guys. I was in a relationship with a very famous musician, and he was on and off the wagon. He was a drug addict, and he was sober for long, and then he'd fall off, and then get back on. And when he'd fall off, he'd end up in hotel rooms with whores, and it was terrible. It was an awful situation. Okay, and he'd come. I'd finally be over him. He'd come back, begging for me back, have tattoos on his body of me, have rings, say sorry to everybody. I'd finally accept him back in, and it was this whole vicious cycle again, right? Maybe way extreme, but Laura's similar, right? It's like, we're okay. We say we're sorry. We get a big upset. And then we call it the merry-go-round. It's a merry-go-round, right? It's the same thing no matter what. Jennifer might be like, I hate this. I can't do this. She gets all upset and then she surrenders to it. And this succumbs to like, I have to have this job anyway. So I might as well make peace with it. And then she goes back into the job and then she's like, okay. And then something happens and then she gets really upset again, right? It's the same vicious cycle over and over again. It's called the merry-go-round, right? So I remember somebody saying, you're going to have to do it as long as you have to do it. And one day you're going to be done. And I was like, okay, and you just got to go and you got to go and you got to go. And then one day doesn't even mean, I remember the last day that I ever saw him. Nothing even big happened the last time. Terrible things happened before that. One day he said, come with me. I'm on the road. Come, you and your son and his girlfriend can come. I've got us all hotel rooms, blah, blah. And I was on the phone and I just said, no, I'm not coming this time, because every time I come, I support you in everything you do. And then when the whole tour's over, you decide to fall off the wagon and I slam down and my whole life crumbles again. And I'm just not coming this time. That's it. And it was done. So one day, Laura, you're going to be done. I had gone to codependent meetings for many, many, many months before I was done. You'll be done when you're done. Insanity is not that much fun. It's actually super boring. It's the same shit over and over again. Creating a life that you love, creating extraordinary things. Like Jennifer, I'm so excited for you to be able to create what you really love to do in this world. Doesn't mean it's going to be easy, but it's sure of a lot more fun to play that game than play the insanity game. So Laura and Jennifer, I'm super excited for you guys. Yeah. Laura, will you do me a favor? Will you DM me on social media and let me know that you go to the meeting? So I have a few other people that go to meetings and they send me little DMs of the meeting they went to that day. And it's just like a fun little thing they get, a little hearted, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You
Thank
just
you, Doctor.
screenshot yes. Okay, great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Okay, great.